Yeah.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Kenneth. Happy New Year. I'm on the line here with Scott Mandelker. Scott, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
And today, we were actually just discussing what to talk about today. um, and from our last show, we were talking about chakra bands. And there is a chart that we will be talking about. But we have also been discussing the issue of counseling and I guess a little bit about the difference between what Freud and Jung were all about. Scott, do we want to talk about the chakra bands first, or cover what we would that thread?
No, let's go into chakra bands first.
Okay, sure.
So in trying to link these two topics,
Yeah.
First I thought that you can say that there are two approaches to personal transformation. One is energy, and the other is consciousness. And in some traditions of metaphysics, it's said that there are two energy threads that are connecting our manifest body, mind, spirit self with a higher self and higher dimensions, or soul, true self. There's the life thread and the consciousness thread, like a needle and thread.
Mm-hmm.
And the life thread is really about the seven chakras, and the sushumna, and the nadis, and the ida pingala, meaning the main energy channels that wind up the etheric spine, the back of the body.
Mm-hmm.
Etheric body being six chakra body, energy field. Mm-hmm. So now I already threw us down into the deep hole, but these things are representative of the energy line of self-transformation, and that's related to the life thread. So the second way of transformation, which is really just two sides of the same coin, is consciousness, and that's the consciousness thread, and that's where we get into psychology, understanding mind and the distortions of psychological conflict and unconscious patterns, old wounding, karmic holdover, and then the methodology of counseling as a way of talking out the blockages, which does change the energy body and the chakras. Mm-hmm. So there are really two different approaches to the same matter. Now, anything you want to say about that, or can I launch into the chakras and the bands?
Well, I'm just wondering I guess looking at it from a Buddhist point of view, everything, all phenomena is created by the mind. Is that correct to say?
Not quite correct, because in Buddhism, to really make any affirmative distinction as to what enlightenment is, would be not, or what absolute truth is. The absolute truth as seen by fully enlightened beings. Mm-hmm. No affirmation would stand. You'd be hit no matter what. Mm-hmm. So, because then you're thinking that mind is solid and real, and therefore there's a separate mind from all creation. Mm-hmm. All creation is the mind, and the mind is all creation. So if you can say that the mind creates phenomena, or all phenomena is mind generated.
Sure.
But you'd have to understand that mind is not separate from all phenomena and all energy.
That's something exactly. So when we're talking about having two threads, one being the seven chakras and then the other being consciousness, I'm just wondering if the seven chakras by themselves are created by the mind.
Yeah, that's a great question, because it's really a question of who came first.
Yes.
I would say they arose coincidentally, because they're really two aspects of the same thing. Mm. So, in the raw material, Ra doesn't use the term light. They use the term light-love, or love-light, with a slash diagonal between them. And they're meaning that all energy is light, all matter is a form of energy, which is a form of light. Mm-hmm. The nature of that light is actually love. that's the root of consciousness. The native condition of consciousness is actually love, or that kind of the basis of what we call consciousness is love imbued infinite awareness. Intelligent infinity is of love. It's an infinity of loving intelligent infinity, or infinite intelligent loving, loving intelligence. So, yeah, you can say that mind creates everything, but you have to understand that everything is the mind. And of these two threads, they're basically two aspects of the same beingness. So I don't think they interplay.
Sure.
So there's the saying, energy follows thought. That's what we're talking about, exactly.
Yeah.
So then thought directed by will, or directed by intelligence, powered by will and desire, leads energy. Energy follows it. Meaning the condition of your chakras and your body, physical body. Every portion of our physical body is created by thought.
Sure.
At some level of our being.
Sure.
So yeah, you can say that they interplay, but I would imagine they were born together.
Yeah, it seems to me like the seven. It seems to me like sorry, go ahead.
No, the thing is that they really are the same, because light is love. All light is love light. Therefore, all consciousness is energetic, and all energy is consciousness, or is conscious. So I don't think it's right to say that they're different. I would say that they're two ways of looking at the same substance.
It's a different prism, almost.
Just two ways of looking at it. We can look at the vibratory, and we call it energy and light. We can look at the thought it expresses in a more universal sense, or even archetype, and say that it's consciousness. So you see, I mean, a real non-dual view in Buddhism goes beyond the saying that mind is a separate thing that created the other separate things, but that all things have that mind quality, and that's energy. That's love light, actually. So all of creation out of the Big Bang is all love light. Sure. What came before it was the free will of the infinite creator to have a Big Bang or a creation.
Cool. So yeah, let's go on with the breakdown.
Okay. So that was just the introduction.
It's gonna be heavy.
2,000 calorie appetizer. Okay. I had my rabbit sausage with basil lamb fat saute, asparagus. So the idea is that the 7 chakras as energy points represent a complex mathematics, and it's the same as the scale, the musical scale, and it's the same as the rainbow colors. And so the colors of the rainbow do correspond, in many traditional systems, to the colors of the 7 chakras. Now, people these days talk about 12 chakras, or 49, or some huge number, or 9. For me, the fact that we can see 7 rainbow colors is enough that to confirm that the ancient belief, and Ra's belief too, that those 7 colors are the colors of the chakras, is a accurate metaphysics, is good enough.
Yeah.
So that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
So within that 7, it just came to me. This was really received information. I didn't read it anywhere. And it came very clearly, and I was very happy to receive it. So if you look at the chart, and I guess it'd be good if you could put that even as the image for the video.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. What you see on the left, you see 2 halves of that chart. There's a top and a bottom. On the top left, you see what looks like a bullseye. Well, not exactly the bullseye, but a column with 7 R numbers, R meaning ray or chakra, 7th chakra at the top, first at the bottom, with an infinity symbol below first ray and above 7th ray, and then concentric circles linking 7 and 1, 6 and 2, 5 and 3, and 4 in the center. That's the primary view of chakra bands. That what came to me that was the basis of this is that the 7 chakras that we see, if you can see, they're up the spine in the etheric body, so they're not physical things, but they relate to physical organs. Is not properly seen as a vertical column, but is more properly seen as a sphere. And so we are not, the physical body is a columnar vertical, column standing upright, vertical top down, but that's only the physical body. The overall body-mind-spirit complex is a sphere. It's a triadic 7-banded sphere, or 7 primary points within a sphere. And in that sphere, actually, there is a banding, so that the top and the bottom have a linkage, right? Just like the circumference of a circle. 360 degrees and 180 on the bottom represents one concentric circle or ring. Then when you go in, you get the inner chakras. And so from thinking that way, then I could see, okay, they fit very well. And actually, in the understanding of the chakras, the significance of these bands, each pole of the band fits very well. So Ra says that the 7th chakra is basically our infinite nature, or the access to infinity, complete and perfect enlightenment, Buddha, and intelligent infinity, before intelligent energy. So the summit, complete and perfect, or Satchit Ananda. And that's beyond personal consciousness. The first chakra is basically our anchoring to the physical body and material plane. And that's before consciousness. And the chakras that are worked upon by the healer in self-healing, in personal spiritual transformation, are simply the middle 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You don't have to work on root chakra, but of course if you do, various spiritual exercise like Tai Chi or Qigong or yoga, dervish dancing, or many things, the root chakra may be, our physical vitality may improve, or our robust condition can be born. 7th chakra is really not a matter of working on either. And so what's in the middle 5, are the center of our work as beings seeking to develop all we are. And so then when you get into the meaning of each of the centers, you see some interesting things. Now, the next image to the right of the first, or top middle, shows the 7 rays in the division of 3, which really correspond to spirit, mind, body, going from the top down. This is in Japanese for work I did in Japan in the last 15 years. And so what you see on the top, this is also a very interesting way of looking. There's lots of food for thought here, because the more you know the meaning of each of these centers, that meaning is expanded upon analyzing the correlations between them. So, like 6 and 2, what's that all about? Well, you need to know 6 and you need to know 2, and you can see how work on 2 is also a kind of work on 6. Now, to break it into the 3 portions, you've got the crown chakra, the 6th chakra, and the 5th chakra being related to spirit. 5th chakra, 4th chakra, 3rd chakra related to mind, and 1st, 2nd, 3rd related to body. And so then you've got body, mind, spirit as three, as a way of organizing the seven. You also see the importance of fifth chakra, third chakra there, which is just so happens to be another chakra band, in that they are the juncture points between major complexes. Mind complex to spirit being fifth ray, spirit, body to mind being third ray, the juncture bridge point.
Sorry, so the top is spirit, mind, and then body.
Yes.
It seems, why isn't the fourth counted as a spirit chakra?
Well, how can negative humans become harvestable into fourth density negative with by contacting intelligent infinity, which is what Ra says, or intelligent energy activating higher chakras, while blocking the heart chakra?
Sorry, repeat that, please.
Sorry, I know this is too heavy for 9:24 in the morning.
No, I can get it. It just takes.
Can I have a coffee and headache, please? No. The idea is that the fourth chakra, although it's the gateway to our true being and freedom from illusion and enlightenment and the joy of love and truth, it's not necessary. It's not the heart of. It's not a spiritual center. It's associated with duality. You see, the centers of mind are associated with duality. The centers of spirit are associated with unity and infinity. Mind is ultimately a delusion, meaning the idea that that mind is separate from infinite life is wrong. And that's why the Buddha said, even consciousness is born of ignorance. The Buddha said that, and that's why Buddhism doesn't talk about unity. Unity is sixth chakra. That's not a big deal. That's that's enlightenment. That's a kind of enlightenment. But unity is not the end of the game. The end is dissolution into infinite awareness. And that is a higher... Well, unity, what we call love is dualistic. It is a consciousness of, is a expression of dualistic consciousness, or continued belief in consciousness. You see, we say, I love you, or I feel love, or I accept this and understand it, and welcome all as it is. That's love. That's a dualistic statement of me and object. Me and the one I love, me and the phenomena that I accept or understand. Those are qualities of love, unconditional acceptance. But they all involve the sense of self. It's a transpersonal self, but there's still implicit dualistic awareness, or awareness of duality, or belief in duality, me and the other, and the action of love. Therefore, it's not of the spirit centers.
Sure.
And it's not needed, actually, to contact intelligent infinity.
Okay.
But what the chart shows to me is that the heart of spirit is sixth ray, the heart of mind is fourth ray, and the heart of the personal self is second ray. So in the middle of that chart, you see a bar which has two lines of R's, R1, 3, R1, R3, R5, R7, above R2, R4, R6, with a kind of strange double arrowed figure between them, showing that they interrelate. That the top line, 1, 3, 5, 7, is called the hard line, or yang, associated with male, not man, person, but the active force. And 2, 4, 6 is associated with negative, not negative ET or negative mind, but the yin polarity,
Passive, yes.
or female. It's actually not passive, it's receptive.
Receptive, okay.
Yeah. Reception and passivity are not quite the same. So that's why love is in a sense not an action, but it's an action of generating reception, generating unlimited acceptance, which is reception. So this is an old idea that there are two lines of chakras, the hard line, the soft line, and 1357 is quite different than 246. 1357 is more associated, you could say, with left brain, analytical, wisdom, fifth ray, intellect, intelligence, concept, logic, while the soft line, 246, is more associated with intuition and holistic awareness. Love, wisdom, blend, or unity, sixth chakra. So it's very interesting to me that fourth ray, although it isn't unitive, meaning there's an experience of duality, me and you, me and the love and the object of love, still it's resonant. It is the heart of mind. The heart, green ray, is the heart of mind, which means, in Chinese tradition and Japanese, taken from the Chinese, the word shin is for heart, and shin is love, wisdom, or heart, mind. And so and that's why when people in Asia sometimes, in Chinese cultures, point to themselves, they where they're part to their thinking, they point to their heart, not to their head. So anyway, these middle centers are really as the center of each complex, sixth ray, fourth ray, second ray, are very important. They're all important, but they're center points of each complex, and therefore are very influential. They have a certain kind of influence. They're the primary generator of that complex, meaning body complex is very much related to second ray conditions. The second ray receives first ray. Therefore, any kind of body illness that's about weakness or energy imbalance is all second ray blockage. And it's not the problem of first ray, it's the problem of how much comes in. So the valve, the regulator on what comes up from first ray, which is infinite, which is, it's a limitless source of power, is really the conditions of second ray. And the second ray, thus, is in many ways the key to body harmony. And the second ray is all about how I feel about me. So any kind of I hate me, or I feel sorry for me, or I'm great and better than everybody, although I'm not really sure, and sometimes I'm scared and I feel so weak, all of that distortion leads to unhealthy body. Because it tightens the valve through which first ray force arises. So likewise, fourth ray is the heart of the mind complex, and this is the interplay of the qualities of love and wisdom. And so the limit to one's wisdom is the limit of one's love. The capacity to know is based on the capacity to see and allow what is to be seen and known and felt, and thus understood and developed into wisdom. Are you okay?
Yeah, I wish this diagram had English translation actually for the few words that are in it, but I'm following you.
Okay. The diagram doesn't say much. The Japanese characters don't have much to say there. Because the top one basically is spirit, mind, body. That's all.
Yeah.
The on the left side, is that your dog puffing?
No.
Oh, okay, I hear kind of
No.
like a tired dog. Okay. I thought it was a dog on the floor with his snout.
No, there was some construction work in the background, but it's gone now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's it. So, no, the Japanese doesn't say much on that on the upper row.
Sure.
It's basically the katakana and hiragana or something, of two ways of writing the
Oh,
same.
I see. Okay, okay, I see.
Yeah,
I thought
that's
I was
all.
saying something. Okay, gotcha.
No, so it's just spirit and mind and body,
Okay.
and the bottom is just, I think, male or female or yin yang or whatever. But mm, so anyway, yes, and so then the heart of mind is love, and the problems with people who are love over wisdom is that they're not love enough. They're selectively loving.
Mm-hmm.
I love what's good and what I consider right, and everything else I hate or don't like or don't want to look at.
Mm-hmm.
And so people who are naive and immature spiritually and fall for false predictions and false leaders and false hopes and deceptive promises, being kindly and sincere and trusting without yet sufficient discernment, therefore they're caught by liars, actually don't love enough. They only love what feels good. They can't love what feels bad.
Hmm.
And therefore they can't see what's outside of love. They can't love the unloving. They can
Sure.
only love love.
It discriminates. Yeah.
Well, yeah, rejecting. And
Mm-hmm.
so that kind of rejectionism leads to ignorance and folly because it blocks fifth chakra.
Hmm.
So the problem of spiritual immaturity or love over wisdom is basically a problem of inadequate love.
Mm-hmm.
Is a selective loving that only accepts what's pleasant or harmonious or positive and doesn't accept complexity or the negative.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, sixth ray as the heart of spirit is really that the primary development of spiritual complex or awareness of infinity and unity is the condition of sixth ray.
Mm.
And that's really worked upon best by meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And then we know that it's a ray or band connected to second ray. Thus, in many ways, the basis of sixth ray, sixth chakra, forehead development as spiritual development, not just mind development, but development of awareness of multidimensional reality and the powers of our true being. That is blocked by distortions about self. Second ray, second chakra blockages. So you can't realize your true spiritual nature or spiritual reality when you don't like yourself or you have all these distortions about identity. And so that's another value of understanding chakra bands, is that the higher development is very much linked to the development of its lower band polarity.
Yeah, sure.
So particularly 6 and 2, actually.
So I've got questions now.
Mm.
So the bullseye and the body mind spirit, or the spirit mind body diagram, they're not quite linked. They're separate systems. As in, you know what I mean?
They're different.
They're different,
yeah,
right?
they're just different ways of looking at the pie.
Right.
They're different ways of cutting the pie or seeing the order of the circle, the order of sphere of the sphere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the bullseye is bottom left, and I think that's just showing, a different way of looking at body, mind, spirit, at sort of the three-dimensional back to two-dimensional. And what's interesting is that it just shows that the heart, the bullseye is the heart.
Yeah.
And that's the key for 3D, is heart chakra development. 90% of the souls on Earth will go onto the positive path, 10% to the negative. But 9 to 1 are pretty good odds that almost everybody listening in the end will go on the positive path, and almost everybody we talk to. And the bullseye center of heart, being heart, means, that the key to our advancement as souls is fourth ray activation or development of love, love, compassion, and unconditional acceptance, which is virtue.
Sure.
So that's all. They're just a different way of looking at it.
My next question is you use the word bands, but wouldn't spheres be a better word, because they are really chakra spheres?
Well, it's if you think of it as a sphere within a sphere. Yeah, I mean, again, the band is just a term that indicates their connectedness.
Sure.
In a circular way.
But it's 3D, you see, isn't it?
It's what?
Is it 3D? Is it three-dimensional? Or you're seeing...
No, this is actually more conceptual.
It's conceptual, okay. All right.
Yeah, meaning the theory of the meaning and function of the seven rays. Not exactly the way a psychic would look at it. With etheric vision.
Sure.
But there is some correlation there too. But it depends on what dimension you're looking at it from.
Sure. It's very, because I'm looking at the top left diagram, and it's very interesting that I definitely resonate with the 2, 4, 6 being feminine and the 1, 3, 5, 7 as masculine, and you see this alternating rings of female male female male then female male again.
Yeah, or yin yang yang yin.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yes, it is. That it is. You see, the thing is that it's the essential nature of all light. So Ra said, the nature of all energy is light. So when we say light love or light energy, that's light or energy. That's the vibratory field, vibratory frequency, wave, quality of existence, and of dimensions particularly, or of all matter, of all substance or form. It's vibratory. That vibratory ultimately is cyclic and is polarized in its nature, meaning its manifestation is in a polarized way of plus minus. And that's the origin of yin yang, which is the basically bipolar nature of light, or light within a field becomes ultimately magnetized. And so light is, if you think about electromagnetism, electric is the masculine, magnetic is the feminine, love is yin, wisdom is yang. Love is receptive, magnetic, wisdom is transmissive or electrical. And so that is the primary duality of vibration, is electromagnetic or impulsive and receptive, potential and kinetic. And that's just the way all creation is.
Sure.
Everything that came out of the galactic Big Bang, all that light is ultimately polarized light, or exists as a polarity of a plus minus.
Cool. I'm ready to move on.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm looking at the top right diagram.
Yes.
What is that?
Somebody is closing their window shades.
It's a very zen, interesting window.
Yeah, the seven. I don't know what's the name of that. It's not a window shade. It's a blinds. Yeah. It's funny they're calling blinds. Yeah. Well, that is a different way of looking at lower right, which is the 7 chakras as seen on the face. That also came to me.
This is so interesting, because this also came to me independently. I did consider this. Never mind. Sorry, go on.
Okay. Well, here it is. Yeah, well, maybe we heard it in the same place.
Hmm.
So the 7 rays can be seen on the head too. The chin is 1, the mouth is 2, the nose is 3, the eyes are 4. What's not shown here are the ears, which are 5. On the bottom right is not shown. Ears are 5. Third eye, middle of the forehead is 6. Crown is 7.
Hmm. This
What's
is
very
so
interesting.
amazing.
Yeah, this
This is,
is the sacred geometry of the human body.
you know, Scott. I was at a traditional Chinese medicine shop, and you know how they have all these charts. You know, like
Similar.
the hand being a microcosm, the face being a microcosm, the ear being a microcosm, the foot being a microcosm. This is
Right.
exactly the same principle.
Yes, it is.
Hmm.
That's the holographic universe.
Wow.
That's
Mind blowing.
because yeah. Well, it all came out of it's sort of self-nested. All of creation is the extrapolation or expansion from a single point that then has some internal symmetry.
Hmm.
So anyway, this is also very the geometry of the face. You can also understand people's character by the geometry of their face. That's called phrenology, study of faces and heads.
Hmm.
And that's similar. But what's interesting here is that you can understand the nature of the chakras more deeply by the nature of their functions on the face.
Hmm.
So the chin absolutely relates to first chakra. People who have a very weak chin, right, weak or strong, have a certain weakness of character sometimes, or that's what it's associated with, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got a weak chin, he's got a glass jaw. And that is ultimately, a matter of one's robustness, more or less, of constitution, root chakra. And it's a fixed point. You can't, the chin doesn't move independently. It moves in association with the mouth.
Hmm.
And that is the mouth, then, being second chakra, is the first one by which you can read the development of personality. The chin is more like the programmed equipment, the nature of body energetics as programmed by higher self before the incarnation. And it's also said in a source called from the Hilarion, Maurice Cook from Toronto many years ago channeled it, that some souls that have a particular hardship menu chosen by themselves, by higher self, for an incarnation called a challenge lifetime or a karmic working off lifetime, may program for a larger than normal chin. Because that, number one, is a sign to other people, I'm not weak. It's a sign to the self that I have some power, and it has some energetic relation to root chakra. And that's because they know they're going to have a hard time that incarnation. So, but the main chakras that we need to concern ourselves with, really, on the face that are interesting are 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 is 6, and, 6 is interesting too, but there's less variation in people's forehead. There is variation, right? So the variation of forehead is really that it does reflect on the condition of 6th chakra. But the variation of mouth and nose and eyes and ears is more interesting. What's also interesting is that there's much more variation in mouth and nose than there is in ears and eyes. Right? Ears have a particular shape, and this part, the lobe is long, the lobe is not detached. It's funny shape, normal shape, But the spectrum of variation is limited. The eyes spectrum of variation is also somewhat limited, big or small, sparkling or dull, beady or open. But it's a kind of limited variation, although the eyes are very, very important for certain reasons. But the eyes are in many ways the key to the face, the gateway to the soul. But the variation of nose and mouth is more distinct and interesting and complex and distorted. So you see a lot of funny mouths and a lot of funny noses walking around on this planet. So that's all the variations of belief, of mind, associated with second, third chakra. Sense of self and relation to others in the group, the emotional constitution or the emotional set, and the intellectual development. 2 and 3, 2 and 3. So you see people with a very big mouth. That's energy concentration in second chakra. You see people with a very big nose, energy concentration third chakra. It doesn't mean the guy with the big nose is more evolved than the one with the big mouth. It just means that there's a focusing of energy in the incarnation on that chakra, second or third. So you can read a lot from a particular mouth. You can see people's pain in their mouth always, meaning their emotional baggage, conflicts, second chakra blockages, shown very nicely by the mouth. And that's why in Buddhism, or not Buddhism, but meditation, it's a long time before your mouth doesn't move in meditation, meaning the micromuscular condition around the mouth is quelled. The mouth is a mask, or the mouth is still. Very, very much work needed before the musculature around the mouth is really relaxed and unmoving.
This is so interesting, Scott. And I just when I went for my Chinese medicine consultation, the doctor looked at my tongue, and there's a chart which obviously shows that the different types of conditions associated with the tongue. Do you have anything to mention there?
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I love Chinese medicine. So I'm a big lover of Chinese medicine. And tongue diagnosis works. The basis of that may be that the tongue is the first outcropping of the root chakra. Therefore, the whole body is shown by it. And look at what's the other very cool, complete systemic diagnostic agent to be seen on the face for diagnosis? Iridology. Iridology. So the condition of the tongue, which is the outcropping of first ray in the mouth, and the condition of the iris as the manifestation of the sixth ray in the eye, it's actually sixth ray coming down, shows the whole body health.
Just to clarify, which one is the fourth ray equivalent on the face?
The eyes.
And what about the fifth is the ears?
Yes. And therefore, wisdom is about hearing, and love is about seeing. Unconditional love is unconditional seeing, willingness to see all. That is unconditional acceptance of all. That is heart chakra development. On the other hand, ears are listening. And a fine ear, or a good listener, is a person who really will learn and will be wise. And the wise listen well.
But it seems to me like almost as if it should be the other way around, because listening is a very yin thing, whereas seeing is more yang, or aggressive.
Yes, that's true. I think that there's, the heart of yin is yang, the heart of yang is yin. So the thing about the ears is they're fixed. They don't move. That's true. That's a yin function. The eyes move. That's a yang function. And so that's just the inner polarities, the sort of substructure, or
the little dot in the yin yang symbol.
Yes, you can. Right, exactly. The dot in the center of the dark is white. The
Mm.
dot center of the white is black. Uh, you're right, and I would just say that wisdom is a yang function, but accessed by stillness,
Mm.
and love is actually a receptive opening, but it's activated by willful seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm.
you know, it's that's the internal yin yang of fourth and fifth ray. The internal yin yang is that, although Ra said that the fifth ray is the first center that's both outgoing as well as incoming,
Mm-hmm.
which is a very deep statement, which means that the fourth ray, or love, is essentially receptive, incoming, not expressive. So you can't give love, but you can be love.
You can't
But
give, right? Okay.
you don't give love, but you live love, meaning you are in love, in reception, in unconditional seeing,
Mm-hmm.
willingness to see. And so the yang in the if fourth ray is yin, as we see 246, fifth ray is yang, 1357, the internal counterpoint is that it takes an act of will to see what you may not like. You can close your eyes or you can keep them open.
Mm.
But once that primary act of will, which is a yang action, is done, then the challenge is the pure reception of what you see, to understand what you see, and to know what you see.
Mm.
And counterpoint, although wisdom is primarily an active function, I think, although it's incoming, it's also outgoing, and it's a juncture point to spirit. So it's a very important center for Ray.
Mm.
It's one of the primary centers, Ra says, 135. And although that action of wisdom, is very dynamic and yang, its basis is the capacity to be still and hear, which is a reception or the yin pole. And that's why the ears don't move much. They don't move at all,
Mm-hmm.
except people who can wiggle them.
Why do we see do the square, triangle, and circle mean anything, or is that just a crude drawing?
It's a crude drawing, and it does mean something. The mouth is more like a box, and the nose looks like a pyramid or a triangle.
Yes.
And the box or square as the figure of second ray, or the mouth point on the face, is that the basis of the face, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is the square foundation of your sense of self. The foundation of the seven of the middle five,
Mm-hmm.
right,
Mm-hmm.
is ultimately how you feel about yourself, self-value, and that's the root of everybody's distortion, is distorted self-value. And the summit of that is the upper portion, the band of 2-6, which Ra says is a recognition of self as a being of infinite worth. Self as a being of infinite worth. That's the summit of second chakra clearance, or the purified second chakra is fed by sixth ray, by a holistic understanding of the self in its greatness. Nice talk tonight, huh?
This is very interesting. Very, very interesting. It almost seems so weird that I didn't expect to be talking about this. I didn't even know it was a face because it was so. I thought it was some esoteric arcane symbology, and then like literally 2 days ago, I was at this Chinese medicine shop receiving acupuncture, and now
Yeah.
we're talking about this. It's
Right.
just something going on.
Yeah, well, it's your accelerated learning, self-learning.
This is mind blowing,
So
really.
yeah, and third chakra, the nose, these things are very, very deep. And we're just scratching the surface because in meditation, anything that a deeper meditator would know is that the condition of breathing is critical to the experience.
Yeah.
Really hard to meditate when you're sneezing or your nose is stuffy. And the unstuffing of the nose, the clearance of the sinai, sinai, the sinuses behind the nose, are central to the purification of the breathing in meditation. Purification just means the development in harmony to an ideal condition. So in deeper meditation, one nostril opens and then the other one will open. And then you have no experience of nostrils. You only have the experience of air coming and going. And that presents a movement out of the dualistic consciousness of 3D, third chakra, nose. So the dualism of the nostrils, and it's normal actually that everybody walks around with one nostril clogged or breathing through one or the other at any one time, and there are cycles of that in the day, or night too. There are cycles where the one nostril opens, the other one closes, or you breathe from one side to the other. That's instinctive, that's reflexive, that's parasympathetic. Meanwhile, that also expresses the normal duality of our 3D consciousness. In meditation, we can experience the duality of the two nostrils, where one is blocked and one is clear, or I'm aware of that, to no more aware of that because I'm breathing from behind. From behind the nostrils, the sinai are cleared or open. And that's a big deal for yogis, actually. And from that one moves closer into non-dual awareness. Some yogis, they have a certain kind of practice where they put a cloth into their nose and pull it out of their mouth. You can Google that. It's a certain asana. Yeah, it's disgusting. But those guys are hardcore. They said, shit, I'm not going to wait till my nose clears. I'm going to do it myself.
I've been using a neti pot. It's pretty good.
Well, yeah, that's right. Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Neti pot. Neti. Neti.
Neti pot?
Yeah.
P-O-T?
Yeah.
What is that then?
It's like a little pot, and you put saline solution, body temperature, and then you run it into your nasal cavity and then you kind of jiggle the water, which clears especially the upper chambers which connect to the ears. It's almost like when you go swimming, sometimes you get water in your nose and it doesn't come out.
Well, that's because there's a whole internal structure, a multi-cavernous structure of liquid movement, mucus mainly, between mouth, nose, eyes, and ears. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Why? So what does a sharp nose mean about you?
A what nose?
A sharp nose, like the French. Why do they have
sharp nose?
Sharp.
It means the primary meaning of the nose is the sense of self, the ego. Not my feeling. It's related to my feeling about myself, but it's more of an intellectual consideration, intellectual definition of self, as opposed to purely emotional. So, the sharp nose is a person who's very intellectual and very Virgoan, very Virgo, very critical, and identifies themselves with the intellect normally.
Sure.
Like Scrooge. So it's a big nose and a sharp nose usually indicates strong ego, meaning a strong dualistic, separative sense of self. which is third chakra blockage.
Just
So
interesting.
likewise, a very small nose, like associated with Asian groups, some Asian groups, not Japanese. Sometimes Japanese have a big nose, but like Southeast Asian. You ever been to Cambodia or Sakao in Thailand? People have a kind of a small nose often, and it's kind of there's no bridge. There's not a big bridge. It's kind of flat from the peak, not the peak. I'm sorry, from the point between the eyes, the bottom, between the eyebrows, where it starts. If you're going down, it's kind of close. There's not much There's not much of a high nose. It's a low nose, curved, and a little fleshy button tip. That's very undeveloped sense of self,
Very interesting.
or very group identified. My family is everything, and more of a second chakra basis.
We could get some pictures for this video, huh? That would be very nice.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is actually very deep stuff, and it goes very far. And, facial diagnosis for the healer and the counselor and the teacher and the helper is useful. So you can tell a lot about that, about the person by the condition of mouth, nose, eyes, and ears. Primarily mouth, nose, and eyes.
Mouth, nose, and eyes, yeah. Sure.
So
what now I'm looking at the bottom left diagram, the bullseye. What do those Japanese characters mean?
I forgot, but I think that I'm really not sure. You got me. I forgot what I had them write. So, but there are a few ways of looking at that. I'm not sure what.
Can we copy and paste into Google?
No, it's an image you couldn't copy. But you can put out the word for some Japanese friend to give a quick look over.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, actually, I'm not. It's funny. You got me on that one. I forgot what I had them put there, and I'm not sure how I would read it today, frankly.
How long ago was this?
Over 5 years. So, one way, you see, my understanding of these things also is developing, so I'm not sure what I meant at that time. What I see there now is that the center, the central, this is, it's really a 2D visual of a 3D sphere. And what I see is that you can look at body, mind, spirit another way, where the body is the outer ring, the inner ring is mind, and the center is spirit. You can also look at them as chakra bands. Again, the yin is in the yang and the yang is in the yin. So, or there's a yang in every yin and there's a yin in every yang. To say that the central circle is spirit is also relating to fourth chakra, linking to 6. Because the spirit centers of the head are really accessed by love. That's the importance of love on the positive path. And the middle is mind, which is very much the bridge, between spirit and body. The creator of body and the tool by which mind purifies itself, by which we develop. And the outer rung is body, if you want to call it that, is the most superficial aspect of our being, or external.
Have you ever encountered anybody doing this kind of analysis with the chakras and the head?
Nope.
This is really groundbreaking, actually.
Yep.
Hmm.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Well, this was received information. I remember I was in San Francisco and letting the mind be free, and it all came, and it's so perfect. It fits so well. I was so happy to get it, and this is it. So yes, it is. It's original on 3D right now. It's not. It's not from me. It's through me. It's a universal truth through me.
And it's just coming to me that it's of course essential to look at it from a 3D perspective. I mean, it seems very natural for me that the center of the sixth ray should be in the pineal gland. Would you agree with that?
Well, there's a controversy about is which glands in the head are associated with which chakras. How I learned originally is that the pituitary is associated with the sixth ray, and the pineal is associated with the seventh ray. Personally, I like that because the shape of the pineal gland, like a pine tree, that's where they get it from. The Latin root pinus, Pinus, is that shape, is an antenna shape. Pine trees are particular, that whole evergreen family are particularly advanced members of the tree family, meaning they're some of the most developed trees around. Pine trees are evergreens, and they're green all year round, meaning they persist in a certain condition despite the 4 seasons. And the green is heart chakra, so they keep their green all year round, which is like being in love, despite cyclic change. And so I would associate that with the seventh ray. But there are good arguments on both sides.
Very interesting. I don't know what to ask now. I'm just kind of absorbing this thing because we can go further and look at the ears, can't we?
Yeah, well, in Buddhism and many in Hinduism, Buddhism, and some other Asian cultures, big ears are associated with wisdom, right? The Buddha has these huge earlobes, particularly a detached earlobe. The bottom of the ear, the lobe, is not attached to the side of the head, the top of the jaw. That's a sign of healthy kidneys in Chinese medicine. The kidneys are very much associated with the ears. And when you have kidney issues, there'll be ear issues. If there's a pimple in you can feel a cyst. If there's a cyst in the lower lobe, meaning if you feel your ears, you might feel some hardness inside there somewhere. Anything like that is related to kidney, or the inability to excrete something, some waste or something unnecessary. The ear as the symbol, what's interesting is the detached earlobe, was more common in people 100 years ago. And it's considered a generational weakening, a weakening of the immune system and of the kidney yang, that modern people have attached earlobes. Any macrobiotic teacher will tell you that. Any Chinese doctor who knows about that will know. Who knows, the significance of the ears in terms of modern, kind of development of public health over generations. And so modern people are actually weaker in qi, or yang force, than people were 100 years ago, even though people live longer today. Now, the big ear is in Buddhism associated with wisdom, and thus, that fits the understanding that ears are the correlate of fifth chakra. Big ears are associated with profound wisdom to the top, where the Buddha has a special kind of ear, and a special profound wisdom. It's associated with longevity, And so people with big ears have strong kidney chi, kidney yang force, and often do live longer. That's itself considered a karmic benefit or a karmic reward or the karmic result of virtue. Longevity is associated with virtue or using catalyst well on one's path. And so that's why elders of communities traditionally, the old ones, the older people, are revered or appreciated. They not worship, but the wise elder. And the older they are, sometimes the more people revere them, or imagine that they're special or wise. And that has a karmic basis, which is that the person who has the long ears is a person who's used their energy well in previous lives in service to others and self-development. So the reason some people would have a big ear, you can still see it these days, but it's less common, is because of virtue in the use of energy in past lives. And therefore, the people who live longer with the bigger ears, perhaps, are those who are already more developed in wisdom. That's why they have big ears, and that's why they have strong kidney. That's why they live a long time, and then therefore they do have some wisdom development. Not everybody with big ears is wise, but it's associated with that. And in many ways, hearing changes as one develops spiritually. One can hear things you didn't hear before. And hearing, both physical hearing can improve, like people can hear noise from far away that they didn't think they could hear it, but they do, because the ears are deepened. There's a deepening of the receptive canal in the ears. And I am sure that some top-notch physiologists could probably find information about that. There's who would you research, but there is a change to the capacity to hear sound and vibration in the physical ear as one develops spiritually. And that goes along with greater receptivity of heart to accept life as it is, which is not fighting and not controlling and not struggling, which is love. And then the person knows more because they can hear well. If you can't listen well, you won't understand well.
How would you comment then on the psychic faculties like clairaudience? How does this relate to clairaudience? Is this clairaudience?
Well, no. Fifth chakra is mind still. It's the bridge to spirit, but it's not yet. If there's a link, the psychic powers of clairvision, clairaudience, spiritual hearing, spiritual seeing, are basically the result of linkage between activated sixth chakra and fifth and fourth. So the eyes being fourth chakra related on the face are improved in their seeing, or that some quality of seeing allows them to perceive multidimensionality in clairvoyance. That's really the result of sixth chakra activation, not fourth in and of itself. Because there are lots of loving people who are not clairvoyant, but the people who are clairvoyant have certainly done meditation and spiritual practice to develop sixth chakra. So clairvoyance is basically, the sixth chakra seeing through the fourth. And clairaudience is the fifth chakra, or the sixth chakra seeing through the fifth. So one is 6-4 and the other one is 5-6 or 6-5.
Interesting.
These faculties are developed basically by sixth chakra.
And what about the senses? Touch, taste, smell, sight. Hearing.
Well, that's what we've got here. So touch is the root chakra, taste is the mouth second chakra, smell is of course third chakra, seeing fourth, hearing fifth, knowing sixth. So and therefore you also can see there are higher senses and lower senses. And then there's the non-sensory or trans-sensory. So first chakra, chin, is associated with touch and simple embodiment, body to body. That's touch. And so that's the lowest or the most earthy or the most grounded of the senses. Taste goes up, and that's the mouth, and the mouth is very complicated, and there's a lot going on with the mouth. That quality of taste is a sort of what is taste? What is taste? I don't know. It's some kind of oil. What is taste? Taste is basically volatile oils and biochemicals of food. The biochemicals and the volatile oils that represent taste, and then of course also smell, are very much a second, third chakra matter. And so how that relates to the sense of self is very esoteric, beyond me. But you can say that the capacity to taste is a distinguishing of quality, smell and quality of food. And therefore it's a second, third chakra combined matter. But it's also a matter of receptivity. Dulled senses versus highly refined senses, the sense of taste. So taste can be dull. There are some people, they really don't taste food. Of course, there's a lot of food in the modern world that has no taste. That's the way mass market food is going. The capacity to taste being a reception of quality of food based in, biochemicals and ultimately volatile oils. They're different chemicals that are associated with scent, S-C-E-N-T, or smell. That's what's being tasted, actually. So the tasting is a combined mouth and nose activity. Its basis is tongue, but the basis of tongue ultimately is a deep level ability to feel, to sense and be aware of those qualities of living matter, which are the volatile oils. It's very esoteric.
I'm just thinking about how sexual the mouth is now, like kissing and eating a meal together and cooking for one another.
Well, not only that.
Oral sex, yeah.
Well, oral sex, but the mouth is like the lower orifice.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
Mouth as vagina.
And also
tongue,
penis, yeah,
yes,
exactly. Yeah.
Mouth and tongue as vagina and penis.
Wow. Gosh, that's huge.
Yeah, and so the root energy coming from the chin activates, the watery cavern of the snake tongue and the, absorptive mouth hole cavern, very much like, male-female organs. Being then also related to food. So sex is a kind of food too. Of course. So one's appreciation of food and one's appreciation of sex are often linked, right? Generally, people who have strong sexuality also like food. Or, the sensuality of eating. That's a sexuality of eating. And that's very much because the mouth is the, generative organ of the face, of the head. That's a very serious matter. So
What do you mean
there's
by
physical.
generative?
It generates new life.
Hmm.
The lower organs, the sexual organs are their first chakra, which is interesting, but their uh, their condition is very much related to the condition of second. So people think the second chakra is the sexual chakra. This is not technically correct in this view, in my view, and from traditional sources actually, and Ra. The root chakra is the sexual organ, but its quality of expression depends on second chakra conditions. So the people who are very sexual are actually people who are very either unblocked or blocked. There's very sexual that comes from blockage. There's very sexual that comes from no blockage. But it's the valve of red ray sexual force, the second ray. That's the valve that opens and closes and expands or minimizes the flow. And that in sexual union makes new life. Then in relationship, communication makes new life. What comes out, what is the ejaculation of the face? It comes from the word, from the mouth. The mouth ejaculates. Very crazy talking. The mouth, the mouth expresses by word the conditions of mind as a form of fertilization of the mental atmosphere. Communication. So be careful with your word because you're creating new life. And so, but the primary expressive organ of the face, of the head, is the mouth. People can have expressive eyes, but if we're looking for physical expression or audible or more 3D plane manifest expression, it's all from the mouth of the head. So in a way, to me, the whole body is inert other than the eyes and the mouth. Life comes through the eyes and the mouth. Life is seen. The quality of infinite life is seen clearly in the eyes, but also expressed by the mouth. And that's a kind of new life or creative activity. Speech, right? And so then there's the link between second chakra and fifth, because you can say that the mouth, while is the second chakra on the face or the head, clearly is a result of fifth chakra development, right? That's the communication chakra. And so there's the linkage between 2 and 5, or 5 and 5 and 2. So one way to look at the face chakras, head chakra, the sub-chakras, or the chakra correspondences of the face, is that they're all subplanes of the fifth ray. Throat, center of throat, is fifth chakra. The chin is 5.1, the mouth 5.2, the nose 5.3, the eyes 5.4, the ears 5.5, and then the sixth chakra is in the forehead, above that. Meaning that the mouth, or let's say the chin, the mouth, the nose, the eyes, the ears less so, but mainly the chin, the mouth, the nose, the eyes are very much related to the condition of mind, obviously. And that's very much a fifth chakra affair. Its basis is 4, but its individualization is by 5. The distinction, personality, and the sense of self, or one's mind, higher mind, true mind, is very much a fifth chakra affair. That's why people who are love without wisdom don't have much to say. They say, I love you. It's beautiful, beautiful, dear ones, your beloved, yada, yada, yada. But they don't have much to say.
That's true.
Because they haven't developed fifth ray sufficiently to to articulate mind,
Hmm.
to articulate their unique mind.
Does this actually way at the start of the show? I was thinking about Leonardo da Vinci's what do you call that?
Mm.
Vitruvian Man? Is it the
You mean
Vitruvian?
the guy, the five-pointed star guy?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Well, that's the correspondences of the middle five with the five limbs.
The
So
middle five with the
with
sorry
the five limbs, the middle five chakras that are consciousness related.
oh okay
Two,
yeah
3, 4, 5, 6.
yeah
Left leg 2, right leg 3, left arm 4, right arm 5, and then the head is 6.
why that correspondence?
I don't know, but I think that that's the case.
Hmm.
In many ways, most people walk with the left foot or with the right foot. You know, the left brain. Most people are left brain dominant, and impels action from the right onto the right. So right action comes from left brain. In many ways, I would consider that you stand on the left foot or the left leg. You stand on the left leg and you move with the right leg. You receive with the left arm and send with the right arm. That's the traditional energy circuitry, certainly of the arms. Left arm receptive, right arm transmissive. Left arm fourth ray heart, which is receiving. Fifth ray right arm sending, or the first center that's outgoing as well as incoming. Fifth ray right arm. So I think, I mean, there are a lot of ways of looking at that, but in my personal view, second ray is relates to second chakra. You see, you know, there's the yin and the yang, right? So there's the yin and the yang of second ray, third ray. There's the yin and the yang of fourth ray, fifth ray. Yin is receptive, right is transmissive. The left receives, the right sends. The yin center of the lower three is second ray. The basis of yang is yin. Second ray is the basis of third ray. Fourth ray is the basis of fifth ray. So yang rests upon yin. 2, 4, 6, 1, 3, 5, 7. So the yin of second ray, the sense of self, the basic emotional feeling sense of self, is the basis of the personality and how we interact with others and our choice of spiritual path. And so the second ray is the basis of third, the left leg is the basis of right moving forward, left arm, fourth ray, is the yin basis of mind, as love or reception is the basis of understanding and knowing. Left arm in, right arm out, right arm being fifth ray, wisdom transmission. And then the last one is the head as a whole, which is the center of spirit, or the spirit complex. And that is very much, you know, the fifth point of the five that are worked upon, being sixth ray. So the legs are second, third ray, the arms are fourth, fifth ray, the head is sixth ray, and left is receptive, yin is transmissive. Left, stand on the left, walk with the right, receive on the left hand, and send out through the right. That's what he meant. Maybe.
Because I'm looking at the diagram now, and it's it's not quite symmetrical. If you look,
I'll send you another diagram. Yeah, it's not. I don't know. I really don't know that diagram, so I can't say much about it.
Sure.
I've seen it, and it's, you know, it's the same kind of five-fold architecture.
Sure, and you know, he even divides the human body, obviously, height-wise, at the knees, and then at the genitals, and then at the nipples, and then at the neck.
Well, these are all, you know, the body, you know, is a representation of sacred geometry. through and through in every last detail. So it's said that the elbows and the knees are the third chakra, are correlated to third chakra. They're sub chakras of the third. And if in the middle of the arm, from the finger to the shoulder, is the elbow, third chakra. The dividing, the connecting point between the hands, which touch, and the upper arm, which is basically just energy flow to the heart. The connecting point is the elbows. Just in the same way that the connection between the physical sense of self, which is first, second, third chakra, right? 3D consciousness is not spiritual, it's not transpersonal, it's very physical material. And that's first, second, and third. And 3 is the bridge to the transpersonal. Just as the elbow is the bridge between the lower arm and the upper. Same with the knees.
So does
I'll give you another picture.
Sure.
I'll send it to you here.
Sure.
Okay. Actually, I have a few to send you. Okay, yeah. What else?
So, would you say then every single organ has a substructure that corresponds to what we're talking about, which is basically division into 7 chakras? Like if you look at the penis versus a toe versus...
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. The head of the penis. You got me into this, all right? It wasn't my time.
It's the human. We're all professionals here, but you know.
We're all...
Welcome to the doctor's office. The spiritual doctor's office.
Right. Well, yes, you can say that the head of the penis is very much related to 6th and 7th chakra. But it's not quite like that. It's a little it's like that, but it's don't have a strict sense of it. It's not like, so some guy has a very, why are we getting into this? Very scrawny pencil version, but a big head. Does that mean he's really spiritual? Thought you would like that. I wouldn't want to be on record as saying that, okay? I mean, I said it, but I wouldn't want to be on record saying that guy is a spiritual fellow. Just think he's just a...
This is a very interesting show.
Yeah, you never know what we'll get into here.
I thought it was going to be a very abstract show, but it's turning out to be very grounded, actually, I think. Everybody can relate to the body.
Grounded or in the gutter, I'm not sure which one. Get your head out of the gutter, yo.
I'm not sure we're going to show a picture of that.
No. Don't no pornography on YouTube, okay?
You're gonna send me some pictures?
Yeah, I'm trying to find a medieval picture. There are a couple that are very nice.
This is so fat. That must be people who study this, huh?
Oh yeah, sure.
Not the only ones. Sorry, say it?
We're not the only ones who know this. Okay, I'll send you one and then the other. Try that.
It's really slow. No, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's speeding up now.
That's an alchemical picture of a figure, and it shows the astrological correspondences of some of the chakras.
Wow. The yes. That's the sun. Is that the moon?
Yeah, the sun is in the heart. The moon is the spleen. I can't read the rest. But you can see the sixth chakra there, the fifth chakra, the fourth chakra, the third chakra, and something that's first, second. And then you can see the energy lines up the back.
The energy. Oh. This is a very odd diagram, actually.
Oh, it's about 500 years old.
Where, who, and where, and do you know where it came from?
It's called, I don't know, it's called Homem Novo, New Man.
Novo.
Homem Novo, that's the name. Anyway, you can Google that.
Sure.
I'll show you one more.
It says Jesus in the heart. Is that Jesus? Is that
Yeah,
what
it looks
say?
like that. Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
So they knew that
Jesus,
Jesus
yeah?
is the principle of love.
Was what, sorry?
Jesus was a manifestation of the principle of love, universal love.
Sure. That's amazing.
Here's the one. One more. Okay, coming in now.
Yeah. Do you know of any other like authors or researchers that, if one were interested in this field, how would we proceed investigation?
No, I don't. I don't know anybody. Only me.
Avarice. Colère. I'm looking at the diagram.
Oh yeah, yeah.
See, avarice and then
So
anger,
so you see
right?
that shows chakra bands. See, chakra bands as
spiral.
as universal. Well, those are the planets of the solar system. That's the astrology of the 7 chakras. 7, 6, 5, 4, heart, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, all 7 there. A little bit off angle, but it shows the spiraling nature. So you see, I mean, 500 years ago, these guys knew these things. They knew much more. You have to read French to know what they're saying there. But
yeah,
this was, I think this was a German guy, Gichtel. Yeah.
Well, colère means anger, and avarice is obviously average. Okay. This is okay. Anyway, we can look at. I just want to check what orgueil means now. Just typing in Google. Mot de jour. Do you speak French?
No.
Pride.
Not really.
Pride.
Oh.
Pride. And the 7.
It's
like the 7 sins, huh? The 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, that's what they probably put that together. But it's interesting that pride is also considered the last distortion that the bodhisattva has to give up before becoming a Buddha. Meaning the last one to go is pride. Meaning a person can have, in Buddhism, 3 out of the 4 levels of enlightenment or penetrations, what Ra would call penetrations of intelligent infinity. One can have 3 out of the 4 and be very, very well developed and still have pride, which is basically spiritual pride or an identification with one's experience of bigness, power, vision, awareness, understanding, capacity, ... and says, that's me, which is not. It's not me, that's the universe. And avarice, greed, sitting next to the mouth, under the mouth, is the greed, of eating? I don't know, but these pictures, they're revealing and they're hiding at the same time. These alchemists, they didn't say everything, or they hid a lot in their pictures.
Intentionally?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Do you have anything else to mention about the 7D chart, the chakra band chart?
Um, Not so much, but I would say that it's very useful for people uh, to understand the chakras. You see, the chakras are very misunderstood and underappreciated or mistakenly overvalued. There are all sorts of distortions that spiritual people bring to a consideration of chakras. The first one is, I know that already. The chakras, yeah, there's 7 chakras. Yeah. But it means they don't really know what they're talking about. But they think they know. That's the most common. Very few people realize that they've read about it and they actually still don't know about it. That's the majority. Then you have the people who think they know all about it, but they've only read some few books that are all in the same view. Yeah. Or they come out with the new views. The Cassiopeans said that there are 64 chakras, and there's the magenta one, and the light pink, and the dark yellow, and the brown one, and they make up things along the way, or they take what I would consider non-credible sources that are more based on personal imagining than received information or insight. But to understand the work, our work, what are we here on Earth doing? To understand the chakras is a huge simplification to understanding the purpose of life. The purpose of life is to clear chakra blockages and activate those that need to be activated in balance, so that energy goes from the root to the crown without blockage and obstruction. And therefore, it's the work of clearing 2 and 3 and activating in balance 4 and 5, and then activating with coordination 6 and 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the work. Very, very simple. And the key, then, to development is the development of 4 and 5, specifically 5. The key to the development of the middle 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is 5th chakra development. Love without wisdom is nice, but in this world, it's a problem. It's weak and unclear. And the key, actually, to continued spiritual growth is 5th chakra. If we're on the path of love, or the positive path, then that 5th chakra is all about honesty. Be honest. Be totally honest with yourself. Almost nobody can do that. People, every self-rejection is a dishonesty. Every aspect of unreasonable self-criticism is dishonesty. In fact, every distortion represents a dishonest self-understanding. Because there's not only us as human and psychological, there's us as spiritual and boundless. So it's a dishonesty to think there's something wrong with you, essentially, even though we have distortions. It's a dishonesty to think you're a body, to think you're a mind, to think you're immortal, to identify with gender, to identify with limitation whatsoever. Not to dismiss it. It's important to recognize distortion, limitation. But identification with it is a problem. That's dishonest. And, every psychological condition is related to a kind of dishonesty or disingenuousness towards the self. The key to good relationship is honesty. How many people can do that? How many people want it? How many people want your honest appraisal of them? How many partners want total honesty? Thus, conflict continues. So, honesty. Honesty means, I really don't feel well. There's really something wrong. Or, it seems that I'm always not happy. It seems that I'm always frustrated. It seems that I'm actually not doing too well. Or how am I doing? Let me answer that very honestly. How do I really feel? That's honesty as applied to second chakra. How am I in this group? What's happening in this situation? What do I really want here? What's really happening here? That's honesty applied to third chakra. So that's the big problem, with the people on Earth. So Ra said that the human people on Earth have a great paucity of honesty, meaning a poverty or lack of honesty. And as I reflect on it all, year after year, I think that's very spot on and very center point idea. Because, it's like my cat died and I'm crying all day. How can I handle it? Somebody asked me this recently. In the end, there's no trick. How do you handle it? Well, cry and cry and cry and cry. Because you're sad. How else do you handle it? But people want to get out of discomfort. I mean, I do. Nobody wants discomfort. But in the desire to get out of discomfort, there's usually a dishonesty brought in, which is, it's basically a rejection of the present moment.
Sure, denial.
Right, denial, avoidance, escape. I don't want to feel this. It will never heal if you don't want to feel. The way to full healing is unfettered feeling. Feel it, then one can heal it. And so there's no trick. And I mean, I was launched into meditation by the inability, the impossibility of being dishonest to myself about how unhappy I was. My misery, my wretched state, at age, whatever, 17, 18, 19. I was unable to deny it, and I was unable to avoid it, and I was unable to have any other activity that released that internal suffering, the hatred of life, or life on earth, many things here, and hatred of ignorance. So, because I couldn't avoid it, and I was honest with myself that it was quite awful, anguish, and yet then too I was also honest that yes, I could see that meditation was the way out, was really a way out, for sure, meaning vipassana, breath mindfulness, and movement into insight. Because I was honest about that, then I knew that there was nothing other to do than sit, and sit, and sit, and sit, and that's all. And if you sit and sit and sit, hour after hour, day after day, month and month, month after month, and year after year, it will all get clear, and the suffering will go away by the willingness to experience one's anguish and complexity and conflict and real emotional process. And then sitting and sitting with love and self-care, it will dissolve. It really will. And that's the straight path, without artifice, without artifice. And that's the fast way, which is to sit through your misery. But people are stuck because they're unwilling to face the pain they're in. And they try to avoid it as a means of getting out of it, deny it, flee it, manipulate it, dismiss it, degrade it, hate it, and it never goes, of course. And that's all dishonesty. Dishonesty is a rejection of love. Dishonesty is a rejection of truth. Truth is known by the love, willingness to know and see what is. So if you want the fast path, be really, really honest to yourself. I mean, talking with others is another matter, but really, really honest with yourself about your perceptions, your experience, your feelings, your beliefs, your ideas, your conditions, the whole spectrum. And most people are really, they don't believe in themselves enough to be fiercely honest with themselves. I'm not talking about talking to others. I'm just talking about authentic, self-knowing. And the reason that's a fifth chakra blockage when there's dishonesty, and its basis, as always, is second chakra, which is the fear of hearing the truth, the fear of seeing my problems, the fear of feeling pain, the fear of admitting defeat and hopelessness and negative emotions. There are not negative emotions, there are painful emotions, but they're not negative. They're just painful, and they're painful distortions. But it's a question, the greater the willingness to be honest, the greater the love. And a profound desire to be honest with oneself is a profound self-love, despite the distortions and the pain. And that wins the day. Because below the distortions and the pain is joy, is freedom, is cheer, and the capacity to hear well and appreciate, the beauty of all that is.
Wonderful. I think we can talk about Freud another day.
Yeah, we can talk about counseling next time.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, so I think, you could say it's a wrap.
Yes, let's do that.
And then, concentric circles linking 7 and 1, 6 and 2, 5 and 3, and 4 in the center. That's the primary view of chakra bands. That what came to me that was the basis of this is that the 7 chakras that we see, if you can see, they're up the spine in the etheric body, so they're not physical things, but they relate to physical organs, is not properly seen as a vertical column, but is more properly seen as a sphere. And so we are not, the physical body is a columnar vertical, column standing upright, vertical top down, but that's only the physical body. The overall body-mind-spirit complex is a sphere. It's a triadic 7-banded sphere, or 7 primary points within a sphere. And in that sphere, actually there is a banding, so that the top and the bottom have a linkage, right? Just like the circumference of a circle. 360 degrees and 180 on the bottom represents one concentric circle or ring. Then when you go in, you get the inner chakras. And so from thinking that way, then I could see, okay, they fit very well. And actually, in the understanding of the chakras, the significance of these bands, each pole of the band fits very well. So Ra says that the 7th chakra is basically our infinite nature, or the access to infinity, complete and perfect enlightenment, Buddha, and intelligent infinity, before intelligent energy. So the summit, complete and perfect, or Satchit Ananda. And that's beyond personal consciousness. The first chakra is basically our anchoring to the physical body and material plane. And that's before consciousness. And the chakras that are worked upon by the healer in self-healing, in personal spiritual transformation, are simply the middle 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You don't have to work on root chakra, but of course if you do, various spiritual exercise like Tai Chi or Qigong or yoga, dervish dancing, or many things, the root chakra may be, our physical vitality may improve, or our robust condition can be born. Seventh chakra is really not a matter of working on either. And so what's in the middle five, are the center of our work as beings seeking to develop all we are. And so then when you get into the meaning of each of the centers, you see some interesting things, or what absolute truth is. The absolute truth as seen by fully enlightened beings. No affirmation would stand. You'd be hit no matter what. So, because then you're thinking that mind is solid and real, and therefore there's a separate mind from all creation. All creation is the mind, and the mind is all creation. So if you can say that the mind creates phenomena, or all phenomena is mind generated.
Sure.
But you'd have to understand that mind is not separate from all phenomena and all energy.
That's something exactly. So when we're talking about having two threads, one being the seven chakras and then the other being consciousness, I'm just wondering if the seven chakras by themselves are created by the mind.
Yeah, that's a great question, because it's really a question of who came first.
Yes.
I would say they arose coincidentally, because they're really two aspects of the same thing. So in the raw material, Ra doesn't use the term light. They use the term light-love, or love-light, with a slash diagonal between them. And they're meaning that all energy is light, all matter is a form of energy, which is a form of light. The nature of that light is actually love. That's the root of consciousness. The native condition of consciousness is actually love, or that kind of the basis of what we call consciousness is love-imbued infinite awareness. Intelligent infinity is of love. It's an infinity of loving intelligent infinity, or infinite intelligent loving, loving intelligence. So, yeah, you can say that mind creates everything, but you have to understand that everything is the mind, and of these two threads, they're basically two aspects of the same beingness. So I don't think they interplay.
Sure.
So there's the saying, energy follows thought. That's what we're talking about, exactly.
Yeah.
So then thought directed by will, or directed by intelligence, powered by will and desire, leads energy. Energy follows it. Meaning the condition of your chakras and your body, physical body. Every portion of our physical body is created by thought.
Sure.
At some level of our being.
Sure.
So yeah, you can say that they interplay, but I would imagine they were born together.
Yeah, it seems to me like the seven. It seems to me like sorry, go ahead.
No, the thing is that they really are the same, because light is love. All light is love light. Therefore, all consciousness is energetic, and all energy is consciousness. Is conscious. So I don't think it's right to say that they're different. I would say that they're two ways of looking at the same substance.
It's a different prism, almost.
Just two ways of looking at it. We can look at the vibratory, and we call it energy and light. We can look at the thought it expresses in a more universal sense, or even archetype, and say that it's consciousness. So you see, I mean, a real non-dual view in Buddhism, it goes beyond the saying that mind is a separate thing that created the other separate things, but that all things have that mind quality, and that's energy. That's love light, actually. So all of creation out of the Big Bang is all love light. What came before it was the free will of the infinite creator to have a Big Bang or a creation.
Cool. So yeah, let's go on with the breakdown.
Okay, so that was just the introduction.
It's gonna be heavy.
2,000 calorie appetizer. Okay, I had my rabbit sausage with basil lamb fat saute, asparagus. So the idea is that the 7 chakras as energy points represent a complex mathematics. And it's the same as the scale, the musical scale, and it's the same as the rainbow colors. And so the colors of the rainbow do correspond, in many traditional systems, to the colors of the 7 chakras. Now, people these days talk about 12 chakras, or 49, or some huge number, or 9. For me, the fact that we can see 7 rainbow colors is enough that to confirm that the ancient belief, and Ra's belief too, that those 7 colors are the colors of the chakras, is a accurate metaphysics, is good enough.
Yeah.
So that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
So within that 7, it just came to me. This was really received information. I didn't read it anywhere. And it came very clearly, and I was very happy to receive it. So if you look at the chart, and I guess it'd be good if you could put that even as the image for the video.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. What you see on the left, you see 2 halves of that chart. There's a top and a bottom. On the top left, you see what looks like a bullseye. Well, not exactly the bullseye, but a column with 7 R numbers, R meaning ray or chakra, 7th chakra at the top, 1st at the bottom, with an infinity symbol below 1st ray and above 7th ray. Now, the next image to the right of the first, or top middle, shows the 7 rays in the division of 3, which really correspond to spirit, mind, body, going from the top down. This is in Japanese for work I did in Japan in the last 15 years. And so what you see on the top, this is also a very interesting way of looking. There's lots of food for thought here, because the more you know the meaning of each of these centers, that meaning is expanded upon analyzing the correlations between them. So, like 6 and 2, what's that all about? Well, you need to know 6 and you need to know 2, and you can see how work on 2 is also a kind of work on 6. Now, to break it into the 3 portions, you've got the crown chakra, the 6th chakra, and the 5th chakra being related to spirit. 5th chakra, 4th chakra, 3rd chakra related to mind, and 1st, 2nd, 3rd related to body. And so then you've got body, mind, spirit as 3, as a way of organizing the 7. You also see the importance of 5th chakra, 3rd chakra there, which is just so happens to be another chakra band, in that they are the juncture points between major complexes. Mind complex to spirit being 5th ray, spirit, body to mind being 3rd ray, the juncture bridge point.
Sorry, so the top is spirit, mind, and then body.
Yes.
It seems, why isn't the 4th counted as a spirit chakra?
Well, how can negative humans become harvestable into 4th density negative by contacting intelligent infinity, which is what Ra says, or intelligent energy activating higher chakras, while blocking the heart chakra?
Sorry, repeat that, please.
Sorry, I know this is too heavy for 9:24 in the morning.
No, I can get it. It just takes.
Can I have a coffee and headache, please? No. The idea is that the fourth chakra, although it's the gateway to our true being and freedom from illusion and enlightenment and the joy of love and truth, it's not necessary. It's not it's not the heart of. It's not a spiritual center. It's associated with duality. You see, the centers of mind are associated with duality. The centers of spirit are associated with unity and infinity. Mind is ultimately a delusion, meaning the idea that that mind is separate from infinite life is wrong, and that's why the Buddha said.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Kenneth. Happy New Year. I'm on the line here with Scott Mandelker. Scott, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
And today, we were actually just discussing what to talk about today. And from our last show, we were talking about chakra bands. And there is a chart that we will be talking about. But we have also been discussing the issue of counseling and I guess a little bit about the difference between what Freud and Jung were all about. Scott, do we want to talk about the chakra bands first, or cover what we would that thread?
No, let's go into chakra bands first.
Okay, sure.
So in trying to link these two topics,
yeah.
First, I thought that you can say that there are two approaches to personal transformation. One is energy, and the other is consciousness. And in some traditions of metaphysics, it's said that there are two energy threads that are connecting our manifest body, mind, spirit self with a higher self and higher dimensions, or soul, true self. There's the life thread and the consciousness thread, like a needle and thread. Mm-hmm. And the life thread is really about the 7 chakras and the sushumna and the nadis and the ida pingala, meaning the main energy channels that wind up the etheric spine, the back of the body. Mm-hmm. Etheric body being 6 chakra body, energy field. Mm-hmm. So now I already threw us down into the deep hole, but these things are representative of the energy line of self-transformation, and that's related to the life thread. So the second way of transformation, which is really just two sides of the same coin, is consciousness, and that's the consciousness thread, and that's where we get into psychology, understanding mind and the distortions of psychological conflict and unconscious patterns, old wounding, karmic holdover, and then the methodology of counseling as a way of talking out the blockages, which does change the energy body and the chakras. Mm-hmm. So there are really two different approaches to the same matter. Now, anything you want to say about that, or can I launch into the chakras and the bands?
Well, I'm just wondering I guess looking at it from a Buddhist point of view, everything, all phenomena is created by the mind. Is that correct to say?
Not quite correct, because in Buddhism, to really make any affirmative distinction as to what enlightenment is would be